What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today you did it again, didn't you, gamer? You saved all of your prep for the upcoming Renegades expansion in Destiny 2 for the final week before it launches. Well, don't worry, because so did I. So in this video, we're going to be going over everything you can do in this final week, well, a week plus 1 day, but who's counting, to give you a massive advantage when the Renegades expansion launches and ensure you're ready for the Day 1 dungeon. And so, let's get started. Alright, now first things first, you're gonna want to hit that notification bell down below so you're notified of new videos. Now, how is that prep? Well, guys, I can't give too much away, but let's just say I was recently at Bungie HQ, and there might be some very interesting Renegades-related content coming soon. I can't say more, but please, hopefully you guys know what I'm saying. If you're interested in getting ready for Renegades, knowing about Renegades, hit that notification bell. But aside from that, guys, no one wants to do it, but we've got to talk about it: bounty prep. In case you don't know, bounty prep is the process of completing bounties now, but then just leaving them in your quest tab until next season, where you hand them all in and get a massive boost to experience, leveling up your mainly new seasonal artifact incredibly fast. Now, there's a big question this time around because Bungie's actually introducing, as you can see, a whole new system that is kind of meant to replace bounties. So these are called orders. You're going to get them as you play. You're going to complete them as you play and just automatically get new ones. They actually spawn according to what you're using. So if you have solar weapons on, you're going to get orders that have to do with getting kills with solar weapons, for example, and they give you XP. So is there any point in bounty prepping when this system is coming? Well, it turns out yes. So Bungie actually answers the question, are bounties gone? And they say the answer is not all of them. Banshee, Failsafe, and Devrim no longer provide bounties, but there are still other vendors that offer daily and weekly bounties. So do not stock up on Banshee, Failsafe, or Devrim bounties, and they say those that remain still grant rewards that they did prior. Specifically, they even mention you can pay a visit to Varix or Petra to get XP. And so therefore, we still want to stock up on those weekly bounties before Renegades. Remember, guys, weekly bounties give the most experience, followed by daily, and then in last place you have repeatable. So try to stock up on weeklies mainly. And there's not too many sources of weekly bounties left in the game. Here are all of them. So, starting with the tower, all of Hawthorne's clan bounties count as weeklies. Then moving on to Neomuna, Nimbus will have 1 right here. After that, for Europa, Varix will have 2. Then for the Cosmodrome, Shahan will also have 2. Moving on from there to the moon, we actually have 4. Eris Morn has 2 right here, and then the nearby Lectern of Enchantment has another 2. After that, on the Dreaming City, Petra is going to have 2, as you can see. Moving on from there, you actually have Zur's Treasure Hoard, specifically Star Horse, will have 1 right here. However, a big tip here, guys, remember, obviously, if you can complete all of these weekly bounties and hand them all in next season, that's a ton of experience. But is it really worth spending the limited amount of time you have in this final week getting the clan bounty done to do a bunch of gambit matches, for example? Probably not. Whereas doing the stuff on the moon, well, in that case, you can grab all of the moon daily bounties at the same time and get those done too. That is much more, overall experience for your time. So although it's important to know where the weekly bounties are, don't spend hours and hours doing 1 weekly when you can, in that same time frame, complete, 5 dailies. That's going to be more overall XP as long as you have the space in your quest tab. And remember, quests actually take up bounty spaces. So if you've ran out of space for bounties, you can actually delete really old quests you have that you no longer need. That'll open up space to grab new bounties. All right, but moving on from there, guys, the next thing you want to do in this final week is level up, increase your power level. And the reason is that, well, initially Bungie announced that your power level would reset in Renegades, but that's no longer going to be the case. In response to player feedback, now whatever power level you are going into Renegades, you keep that power level in Renegades. So the higher you get right now, especially if you cross those important thresholds, if you're, let's say, 380 and you can get into the 400s, then you're going to be able to start Renegades earning better gear. Likely you're going to be getting tier 4s, a chance for tier 5s right off the bat in Renegades. So again, doing some leveling in this final week is a good idea. Now, while you're doing this leveling, another extremely important thing to keep in mind is that the portal loot may rotate. So it is likely that we're getting brand new portal loot within Renegades, and so this means if you want the mint retrograde, you might want to get it now. We're not 100% sure on the details. Maybe all this portal loot that's in the game right now, maybe the mint retrograde, maybe all of the different weapons and armor that are dropping from the Pinnacle Ops playlist will just be replaced with new weapons and armor. In that case, how do you get the Bushido set? How do you get the mint retrograde? You might not be able to. It might be out of rotation and you're just out of luck, right? So in that case, you really want to try to get the stuff available in the portal right now. And even if Bungie is just adding new stuff to the portal, guys, that also massively dilutes the pool. It's going to be much harder to get what you want. So in this final week, if you see any of the loot pieces you actually want being featured, very good idea to go after those, while you're leveling up and doing some other stuff. But moving on from there, normally I'd have a section on resources, talking about why it's important to stock up on resources in this final week, and that's still a good idea. If you can go out and get Ascendant Shards, that's going to be great for masterworking new gear in Renegades. However, resources have really been turned on their heads within this last season. For example, Bungie added unstable cores as the only currency really you need to level up, and then they promptly removed it. So right now it's just glimmer and enhancement cores to level up, and so, if you want to stock up on something like glimmer, that is going to be a crucial currency for next season. But if you're already at or near max level, you don't really need it. And so depending on where your account is, what resources you need, it's going to be vastly different. And I would say this time around, I would feel much less pressure to stock up on resources than pretty much ever before, guys, right? Because again, infusing gear is really not too resource intensive now. What I'm saying is spend your time doing other things like actually leveling up, grabbing those bounties, getting bounty prepped, all that stuff, rather than, trying to stock up on every single type of resource. But moving on from there, guys, the last thing I want to talk about is getting ready for the new meta. So at the time I'm recording, Bungie has released 3 separate massive articles detailing buffs and nerfs coming in Renegades. So one of them was to weapons. Linked up above is my full video covering that. Essentially, definitely spread shotguns, pellet shotguns are getting a big PvE buff. You also have a bunch of exotic weapons getting some pretty saucy buffs as well. After that, guys, they then released another article on exotic armor getting buffs and nerfs, but there was no nerfs. It was all buffs. Again, full video on that linked right up above. The real standout is the Matadoxia Warlock chest piece. This is going to improve the damage of your Needlestorm super up to the levels of Thundercrash with Kuros. This could become one of the most important exotics to get in the entire game for DPS phases. Everyone's hot swapping to Matadoxia on their Warlocks. Very important one to grab. Try to get it in the Paragon archetype so you get that big super spike followed by melee, because the other half of the exotic has to do with melee. But just earlier today, actually, Bungie released a 3rd article detailing the abilities, buffs, and nerfs coming in Renegades. Again, full video on that linked right up above. And for that, honestly, hunters are eating good. Massive buffs to Tether. Tether now weakens 5% more. You're going to do 5% more damage with Tether than any other source of weaken, like Tractor Cannon, etc. Golden Gun, Hunters buffed to the absolute moon. Like, that's looking extremely good as well. DPS output and stuff like that. So hey, going and getting a good Celestial Nighthawk, very good idea as well, stuff like that. So definitely, like, check out those videos if you have the time, and potentially, you know, making builds that are looking to be very good next season is always a good idea. Or if not fully making the build, investing in the things we know are getting a lot better, guys. And there you have it, guys. That is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.